So, support wise, I'm going to shift gears here. So, I mean, I'm talking about kettlebells all the time. I feel like I'm talking about not just now. I feel like I talk about kettlebells a lot. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things, you know how like you go from thing to thing and you're like, hey, I'm into
I go to
now.
one thing only.
Yeah. No.
You go from thing to thing.
Well, I try to acquire knowledge and skills, capabilities. We'll say capabilities. That's important. Participation is required. Kettlebells is kind of like a thing that I recently got into. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm getting kind of good at them.
Jack.
Bro, because consider, okay, I'm going to go into numbers, whatever. So my Metcon was I'll do 135.
Clean and jerk?
Clean and press, jerk, whatever. Press is jerk, like just pressing, right? Jerk is kind of like you jerk your whole body kind of thing. Okay, so it's clean and jerk with 135, the wheels. 5, and then to burpees, 5. Mm-hmm. Walk for 30 to 35 seconds. Mm-hmm. Walk. Boom. Do it again. Mm-hmm. So anywhere from, I don't know, I'd say about 8 sets would be like a solid one. Usually it's
why are you doing the 30-second walk, by the way?
It's like the recovery. It's like you're breathing. That's why.
Okay.
So it helps. Wait, why? Should I not do that?
I don't do that. I'd be going 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
No, you wouldn't. All right, I challenge you right now. We're going to do it together, and you just go 5, 5. We'll see who can go longer. Well, I don't want to do that.
Well,
I might die.
The contest wouldn't be to go longer.
Well, whoever stops the rhythm. I'm saying that the rest is part recovery. Here's the goal. That's why.
Well, let me ask you this: how long does it take you? Like 30 seconds to do? Does it take 30 seconds to do the 5 and 5?
Yeah, no, more than 30. So you do 5 clean and press.
Right.
Boom, 5 burpees. Yeah, it's more than 30 seconds.
Okay,
sure.
Maybe 45 at the most.
Yeah, maybe 45. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
It's more than 30 though, for sure.
Okay, well then I guess it might be all right.
So,
you should put that on a timer though. You shouldn't be saying like a minute 30. I'd rest for 30 to 35. You should be like, okay, I'm doing it.
Oh, because you're saying like the tabat, like
you should do a minute 30 seconds, and every minute and 30 seconds you do the 5 and 5.
Okay,
so that way you get. Because by the 6th set, you'll be like tired when you're starting it.
Right.
But you don't want to rest more because you want to push yourself.
This is kind of my thought process on it is I'm going to do a certain kind of work capacity, like 5 reps of this and 5 reps of this. And then I'm going to have a kind of an active recovery period walking.
Yep.
And here's the thing. And here's kind of the goal.
This is good. I actually am going back on what I said. I think this is actually not a bad idea but you need to put, it's like when sometimes I'll do stuff on the minute.
Yeah.
What makes me nervous about what you're saying is like, I like rest for about 30 to 35 seconds. No. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Because that could be 40 seconds.
Yeah.
That could also be,
it's not.
You got a clock on.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And that's
100%.
Cool. Proceed.
Yes. So here's the weird thing about having a clock. Ever since I started lifting, rest between sets has been a critical part of my lifting routine. From the beginning, rest between sets. Because it's just what I learned and stuff like that. So I don't think the clock, an actual clock, has not been a part of a workout ever.
Oh, that's good.
It's part of it's like weights. There's weights. Just like you're lifting those weights, that's what the weights are for.
Right.
You're going to rest in between sets, that's what the clock is for. You can't just go willy-nilly and be like, I'll just throw in whatever.
Well, no, that's good.
And that's just my philosophy.
If I'm not on the clock, a 1 hour workout for me would take like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because I'll just be thinking about something, or I'll just take more rest than I should have taken, or whatever. It's bad.
And consider this. If you're doing, let's say you're doing 5 sets of squats, 5 sets, 8, we'll say, and when you're pushing. On your second set, you can do more weight or less weight than on your first set if you rest for less time.
You're right.
So if you rest for 5 minutes, you can do way more.
Yeah.
So that's putting your body through something different than if you would have just rested less. So it just depends on what you're trying to put your body through, what you can recover from, and what kind of results
one of the hardest workouts is, and this is in Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual. I used to do the 20 rep squat workout.
Sure.
Which is you take a weight that you can do 10 times and you do it 20 times.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
And it's devastatingly hard.
Yeah.
And I would rest for 20 minutes. And then I would do it again. And then I would rest for 20 minutes and then I would do it again.
Jeez,
so 3 sets of that.
Yeah.
That is that.
Okay,
that's
so
no joke.
so and I believe you. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that. But that being said, technically that's impossible. Technically,
yes, you're right. It is impossible to do something that you only do 10 times to 20 times.
20
yes,
yeah.
it is impossible.
If you can do the weight that you do 10 for 20 times, that's the way you can do for 20 times.
Yeah, you're right.
Straight up,
it's
not 10.
Right.
So I get it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna. You're right.
Yeah.
But you also understand what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're like a normal, like you're not maxing out at 10 reps with this weight. It's like, this is my normal, maybe if I'm going to do a set of 10 or so.
You would be surprised that the weight you can get, like let's say, you pick the right weight that you can, like I can do this 10 times.
Yeah.
Legitimately. And then you're like, you know what? I'm going to do it 20 times.
I know,
but freaking sucks.
I dig it. You're right. But I think that's like a curse of knowledge kind of situation. Like when you say I'm going to do a weight 20 times what I can, let's say for lack of a better term, normally do 10.
But it's not normal also. You're resting as much as a human being can rest with a bunch of weight on their back in between reps. Yeah. When you get to rep 12, you're taking like time. Yeah. But it's a losing proposition because while you're waiting there, resting, you're actually suffering and your back's starting to get all
I get it.
That's why overhead squats are brutal because you're not resting in an overhead squat position.
And it's like awkward and that's hard, the overhead squat situation. But, and not to beat a dead horse here, so like consider if you said, hey, someone who's pretty new more or less to working out, say, hey, get a weight you can do for 10 and do it 20. They're going to mess up in one way. Probably. They're going to be like, okay, I can do this 10 times. I know that. And I'm going to try to do 20. They can't even get 20 because you said the weight that they could do for 10. They try for 20, they fail at 10. That's how much they can do for 10. Or they'll go the other way. They'll be like, you'll be like, oh, and they'll be like, wait, I got to do this 20 times? Oh, sure. I can do this. I can do the bar 10 times. So I'll just use the bar kind of thing. So you have that knowledge where you're like, hey, I know the weight that I can do for 10 and it'll be hard. But you know what? I'm going to get nuts. And if I really push myself, I can get 20. Guess what? I'm using that weight. So you kind of have that because you've been training a long time. No, so I get it. You're right. And I don't think I'll ever do that, even though I kind of considered it last time you mentioned it. But then when I got in the workout room, I was like, I don't think I'll ever do that. Maybe I will. I don't know.
You will.
Actually, I'll tell you what I will do is someone online, maybe it was you, someone was saying 100 burpees in
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Was that you saying that? Yeah.
And Brandon just texted me yesterday.
Yeah,
Brandon Pegworth.
Yeah.
He said he's going to do it.
I was considering I'm going to do it, and the first time I did it.
It's not that hard.
That's what I
so
thought.
Surprised that Brandon's a good shape. You ever see, he posts like pictures of himself doing these crazy push-up workouts.
Yeah.
I can't believe he can't do it. That's why I'm so surprised.
This is what
he does good creative push-up drills. Weird creative push-up drills.
Like what?
I don't know. He's doing some weird stuff. He puts his hands up here, over there.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Awkward, but yeah, totally good.
Yeah, because you ever tried, like, I got good at push-ups when I was thinking, actually, I'm still pretty solid at push-ups. But you try to do a push-up with, like adjusted, you're like, this is way off. It's kind of like, goes back to what we were saying, it's like what you're used to with your neuromuscular connections.
Speaking of what we were saying. Weren't you saying there was something about kettlebells?
Yeah,
that you were going to very quickly and concisely kind of wrap up right now.
Yeah. Then you started talking about other crazy squats and whatnot.
You know what? It is my fault. Next time I won't say anything.
Yeah. See, that's what I see what you did there. Look, you took blame. You told me what you're going to do to fix it.
Yeah.
Dang, extreme ownership. In effect. Also, okay, wait. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I'm into kettlebells now.
Yeah. And you want to say where you should get your kettlebells? I'm
not saying necessarily where you should. I'm saying where I got them. Okay. And if you want, you can get kettlebells anywhere. Where? Really?
What about cool kettlebells?
Cool. Okay. Whoa, that's a different story, my friend. Anyway, I got mine from Onnit. I'm not even saying get the cool kettlebells. I'm saying go to onnit.com/Jocko. Look at the kettlebells. You like those kettlebells? If you're going to get into kettlebells, or if you're already currently into kettlebells, get some of those if you like them. I like them. I got one, the small one. It's called Howler. A little Howler monkey.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a monkey. Anyway, Howler monkey. Kettlebell, it's like, I want to say 18 pounds. What's 0.5 pood?
8 pounds. A pood is 16 pounds.
Yeah. No. 16 kilos, I think.
Oh, sorry. 16 kilos, yeah.
Yeah. So 8 kilos, 16 pounds. give or take 17, 18 pounds. Anyway, I got one of those for my daughter. So my nephew comes, visits. He's 11. Not into working out. We'll just say that.
Yeah. Is now,
yeah. So I'm like, he's one of these kids. He's like, he's into math and whatnot. So I'm working out all the time. And I never really thought until someone maybe kind of suggested it to say, hey, come work out with me, So I tell him, come work out. And I kind of caught him at the end where it was Metcon time. And I was like, hey, come work out, because I saw him, And he's like, yeah. He's like, cool. Immediately, too, by the way. You'd be surprised.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, man.
I'm not surprised.
Kids,
it's
they
normal.
see you working out, they're like, man, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
In their head.
Imagine
but
when
sometimes
you were
shy.
a kid. Remember you saw somebody that was all yoked? You're like, how do I do that?
That's the whole reason I work out, to be honest with you. Like, remember the show American Gladiators? Remember that show?
Yeah, but it was not from when I was a kid.
Yeah, no.
I didn't watch it the way you were apparently watching
bro,
it.
I was watching that. I was like, bro, I want to be American Gladiator, because it was like, because they were the mix between these big kind of almost like bullies, not bullies like bully people, but they were like, when you play a video game, you come against the boss who you look at him, you're like, I can't beat this guy. I can't beat him. But you're a normal character or whatever, and then they end up winning. That's what American Gladiators was in real life. And I was like, dang, those American Gladiators are money, because they're athletic too. I was like, man, I'd watch it and I'd do a bunch of push-ups. I was in like 6th grade or something like that. And yeah, that's the whole reason. Anyway, I think a lot of kids have that in their mind, especially the boys.
For sure.
In one way or another. So I was like, hey, come work out with me. And he's like, okay. Puts down his phone. Yeah, he was on the phone. Not anymore. Boom, out there.
Little Uncle Jake scenario going on.
Uncle Jake, 100%. I was Uncle Jake at that time.
Legit.
Nephew is there. Actually, he was visiting me. I wasn't visiting, but nonetheless. He comes, I teach him the form, and kids kind of have good form. Well, he did,
because they're flexible.
Yeah, they're flexible. They haven't fallen into like improper patterns. Yeah, maybe like adults have or something. Maybe I don't know. That's just a guess. But anyway, so I'm like, just the basic kettlebell swing. I say this is what you're gonna do. Do it. I'll do it. I'll show you how. Give him little tips or whatever. It wasn't perfect for him at first. You'd adjust and he could do it. Not the kind all the way up or nothing. Just a basic. I was like, all right. And my daughter happened to be there, and so she knows about burpees. So I was like, okay, what we're going to do is you're going to do kettlebell swings, 5, and then you're going to do burpees. And then we're going to walk for 30 seconds, basically. But he's doing the kettlebell swings rather than the clean and press. So then you're going to do burpees. Burpees is just jump down, do a push-up, and then jump up in the air. That's a burpee. So he does it. I was like, well, on the when you transition from standing to push-up, there's some wiggle room there for air. So I go, I tell my daughter, hey, demonstrate. She does. She's 4. She can do it pretty good, too, by the way. So she does it, and so, of course, he can do it. He sees a little girl do it, so he does it. Makes the adjustment. Boom. He's good to go. He's ready. So I'm getting fired up because mine's about to be super hard like it normally is. And he's like, you could tell he's getting fired up, too. So I set the clock, and we go. And his was kind of easy, to be honest with you, because the kettlebell swings compared to the, And boom, that kid did the whole thing. And he's all sweating afterwards, And he's the kind where he doesn't do that kind of stuff, but you could tell he was super fired up. And you know what he said what he said afterwards? He's like, hey, next time you work out, can you let me know?
There you go.
Straight up. I was like, oh, dang.
Uncle Echo's in the house.
In the house, man. In the house. Yeah. So
Should write a book about that.
Yeah. Maybe I will. It'll be the best book ever.
All right,
for kids.
Next.
Anyway. Kettlebell's good on it. They have a lot of good stuff. You ever done battle ropes before?
Yes.
You have?
But not
I never have.
Like they were in some random gym I was at one time. I was like, I've seen people doing this. I'm going to do some of them.
Yeah. They're like big big ropes, and I guess that's a good exercise. I'd never done them before, but I was considering that. I saw some on there. Anyway, there's a lot of good stuff. Onnit.com/Jocko. Check out all the stuff. Really good stuff. Stuff for everything, basically. Everything getting after it. Also, good way to support is when you get your copy of About Face, of course. That's already on it on our website. JockoPodcast.com. That's the website, if you didn't know. The Clay Pigeons of St. Lo. That's the current book we just went over. That one is on the website as well. It's in the little section, menu item on the top of the website, JockoPodcast.com. Click books from episodes. Boom, the list of books by episode. Click through there.
Yeah, and before you tweet me and tell me a good book that I should do on the podcast, check and see if I've already done it.
Yeah, there's like 60 books or so.
And a lot of really good books that everyone knows. But if you haven't listened to the podcast and then you're telling me to cover With the Old Breed by Eugene Sledge or whatever. Just a lot of times people tell me to cover books that have already been on there.
Yeah.
So then I got to go and figure out which podcast it was so I can tell you to go and listen to podcast, 10.
Yeah.
Which is With the Old Breed by Eugene Sledge.
There you go.
I think.
Yeah, something like that. But hey, you want to check that out? Like I said, it's all there by episode.
Yeah, and if you want a reading list from me, that's my reading list.
That's it. Yeah.
There's no other books. If a book is good and I read it, it's been on the podcast.
And I'll do you one better, because I have a small reading list that I added to that list.
Oh,
it's only one book, but I'm just saying.
Was it Mind Games?
Mind Games, yes. Michael Powell. That's an easy read. It's it's kind of like the field manual, a small little version, different subject, but nonetheless.
It's not like the field manual, dude. No. I haven't even read it, but I know it's
not. No, probably not. Anyway, back to this. As far as supporting, get your books through there. Click through it. Goes to Amazon. You shop Amazon like we all do anyway, right? So when you get these books, like I said, listed by episode, click through there. And if you're doing other shopping, hey, feel free, When you click through there, that's a small little action. Big reaction as far as support goes, kind of like, when you throw sodium metal in water,
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I haven't said it for a long time, so I'm going to say it now just to remind everybody. When you throw sodium metal in water, it explodes. Big, huge. I learned that in chemistry class. My chemistry teacher's name is Mr. Bigelow, by the way. Kauai High School. Back in the day. Anyway, also good way to support. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play, and other places that they do podcasts.
And leave a review. If you feel like it.
Yeah, that's really what
it is. I like reading the reviews, but yeah, if you feel like leaving one. Apparently it's like, it helps, but and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good, and that's great. For sure, that's great.
Yeah, no, helpful. It spreads the... What does it do?
Spread the word. I think ultimately that's the benefit. So, when I see our Jocko Podcast on, number whatever, where it appears like between 1 and 10 in the business section, that is good. That's cool. But really the tangible benefit for the message is spreading the word.
Right.
People, if they get turned on to it improves everybody's life, really, because if you improve your life in all these ways, it improves. Like, your improvement is a direct effect on my improvement because I hang around with you. So that's kind of how it is. So that's really the benefit. So
if you want to help spread the word, you can write a review.
Yeah.
And if you want to give feedback about the podcast, that's a good place to do it.
Yeah, I think and let's face it, when you leave a review, especially the ones that everyone leaves,
it's
kind of fun. That part is fun.
And people like take time in the reviews. They're like, good podcast.
Yeah.
Well, actually, sometimes they do say that because they're saying good. Emphasis on capital GOOD.
Yeah, that's
podcast.
how. Layers.
Mm-hmm.
Layers in the review. Dang, they're everywhere. So I'm telling you. But anyway, look, if you're in the mood, leave a review. As long as you're honest, that's the main thing. And, get colorful with it if you want. Those are actually the fun ones. Like I said. Anyway, leave a review. Yeah, sure. If you feel like it. Subscribe to the YouTube. We have YouTube. If you didn't know. Everyone knows, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we say it all the time. But in the event of this being the first time.
Why wouldn't you subscribe to it then?
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't someone subscribe to it?
If I were a person who... Oh, wait. If you're listening to the podcast, it makes sense. Yeah. I don't know how many reasons there would ever be to not subscribe. Yes. Here, this is why.
What's the reason?
I listen to the podcast audio. I go to YouTube and I only watch people playing first-person shooter video games. You know how that... I don't know if you know this, but that's a thing. Like, people will watch other people on YouTube videos playing shooter games.
Okay.
Let's say I'm only into that. I'm probably not going to subscribe. Or, actually, this one's actually the legitimate one that I can kind of dig and relate to, is if my YouTube subscribing situation is only to kids stuff. Only to kids stuff, because every once in a while, I give my phone to my kid.
Okay.
And they watch like Peppa Pig or I don't know, something.
Well,
and then boom, they click on
the reason I say this is because a lot of times the podcast is just what the podcast is on YouTube, but like the other day you released a deleted scene. It wasn't even deleted, it was a pre-recording. We were just talking.
Yeah, before.
And people seemed to think it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And even I thought it was quite funny.
I thought it was funny, yeah, because when you detached it is really funny.
But the thing is, if someone wasn't listening, if someone's not on subscribe to YouTube, they would never know that existed.
Yes.
And then you miss it. And it's
true.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too.
Yeah.
Even though it was kind of harsh, you know, would you call me getaway sticks or something like that? Messed up. Anyway, yeah. See, now you just went into the reasons to subscribe. Oh, there's a whole reason. Good, because you know the excerpts that we put out, just cut tiny segments, 3 minutes nowadays.
Even though the deleted scene was 16 minutes.
Yeah, you know that's different, but
it was pretty funny.
Yeah. But the excerpts, you know, they're just like individual ideas that you talk about. Boom, shareable. All good. That's a good reason to subscribe to YouTube. One of the many, in my opinion. Also, Jocko has a store. It's called Jocko Store. JockoStore.com. That's the URL. On there, what do we have? Shirts, rash guards. Rash guards we started for jiu-jitsu. But here's the thing. Rash guards are for surfing and bodyboarding.
And jacking steel,
yes. Cycling. These are all. That's what really it's a spandex shirt. There's little things.
Yeah, I guess the term rash guards only applies to surfing, and because it doesn't. You're not worried about getting a rash when you're lifting weights. You're not worried about getting a rash. I guess.
I guess in jiu-jitsu, mat burn or something like this.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
guard you against rash or ringworm or whatever. Sort of nasty.
Yeah.
So.
Nonetheless, I mean, the point there is that it's for everything. Just because you hear Jocko talking about jiu-jitsu all the time.
You know what? It's not for everything. Because I don't want to see you at the club in a get after it rash guard.
Well, you can speak for yourself. Because if I saw someone at the club with a get after it rash guard, I would say good evening to that person.
Oh, that's a good point.
And
I guess I can't take away from him.
But no, you can't be mad at him.
No, actually, I can't be. No rash guards when you're out. Not doing activities, I'm not a supporter of that.
Yeah, you know what? To be completely honest, I don't know that I would support it or
just
recommend
rolling around.
it.
I mean, just like, hey, I'm going out. I'm going to the supermarket. Put on my get after it rash guard.
Yeah,
I guess if you're just like, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
you might want to be ready.
Right, it's true. Yeah.
I know you get some good workouts in a grocery store yourself. You know you're carrying the 6-pack and extra for long line.
Yeah, it's true.
If you're in the rash guard, your compression, you're ready.
It's absolutely true, and you want to look into that. Go to JockoStore.com. So the shirts on there, I try to add like a new one every month or so.
I don't know what your goal is.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually have a goal.
I've been wearing Bronson's children t-shirt.
Me too. Yeah, that's the one.
Because that's
yeah.
That's
the shirt that you made. The one that you made with my face on it, whatever. Dang. So I'd always get caught up on the front, like, haha, that's funny, the front and all the layers on the front, but on the back it says good evening. So when you wear that one, that's when people are going to talk to you the most. You know how, you don't wear the one with your face on it ever, do you?
No.
There's no reason for you to.
That would be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird.
I already have my face.
Yeah, you don't need two of them.
You're wearing my face right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Awkwardly enough.
Yep. Look at that. But if you wear that one, it says good evening on the back. So I never really thought of this. I haven't worn it. I don't even have one. But that's when I'd wear this one, the one with good, people will say something. They were like, good, or be like, oh, your good is backwards, your shirt's backwards. I don't know, or who's that guy in your shirt, whatever. People will say something to you. The good evening one, they'll talk to you even more. But they'll do it from behind. They'll tell you good evening every single time.
Interesting. You haven't worn it yet. How do you know this?
No, because I know the compulsion, like I know the feeling. That's my hypothesis, anyway. And from what I hear from the field. Anyway, go on there. If you like something, get something. That's a good way to support. There's some hats.
Oh, really? Released?
Coming out soon. Within 1 week. How about that? Cool?
Okay.
All right. There it is.
I better have like 9 of them lined up at my doorstep because I need some of them hats.
You got it, bro. I promise. So yeah, some patches on there as well. Anyway, check it out. If you like something, get something. Also, Psychological Warfare. If you don't know what that is, it's an album with tracks Jocko tracks. It's Jocko talking, getting you through various points of weakness in your... I've been really trying to think of a word to say other than journey.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't yet, so we're gonna stick with journey. So when you're on your journey, you're trying to wake up. You're trying to wake up early. Maybe I will
do it.
You're trying to work out. Well, you're trying to work out. You're trying to work out every day. Every day now. Mm-hmm. Even on rest days, you're doing a mobility WOD, something like this. Yeah, man. Sometimes you want to turn those workout days into rest days. So don't do that. And if you need a little spot with that, you listen to Psychological Warfare. There's a track for that. For any point of weakness, like I said, get after it. Psychological Warfare, Amazon Music, iTunes, various other MP3 outlets. Jocko Willing.
Now, first, if you haven't heard yet, we are now in league with Origin USA. Little company that we are now a part of. It's been months in the making. We've been going back and forth with my boy Pete Roberts. And who actually, you want to talk about layers? Yeah. The reason that we are linked up in the beginning was because of Sarah Armstrong.
Sure.
Who heard me talking about how cool Origin was.
Yeah.
That they make everything in America. Yeah. She sent Pete an email and said, hey, I know you run this company and this guy was talking about you. You guys should talk to each other. Guess what? We talked. And now we're getting after it.
Dang.
And we joined forces. So we're planning all kinds of things. And gear, geese, rash guards, planning some supplements, believe it or not.
Is the rash guard back in stock?
Not yet. We're doing a lot of building right now.
Yeah.
But we got all kinds of things coming. Basically, I want to make everything that I use to get after it.
Yeah.
I want to make.
Yeah.
So everything, when I say everything, it's not a long list. I don't use that much stuff to get after it.
Yeah.
I use a pretty small list. Yeah. But I want to make it, and I want to make it in America. So if you want to check it out, check out originmaine.com because it's in New England, which is where I'm from.
Dig it.
No big deal.
Layers
indeed. And also, if you want to get into it, like now, you want to find out really what's going on, there's an Origin Immersion Jiu-Jitsu camp in Maine. I realized I hadn't even explained what this is. You ever see, I'm from New England, so I know what this is. I know what a camp is. You may or may not know. People in other parts of the country may or may not know. Mm-hmm. A camp in this form is, in this situation, it's a big lake. Mm-hmm. And on the lake, there's a property. Mm-hmm. And on the property, they have a bunch of little cabins. Yeah. A bunch of them. Yeah. Like multiple cabins. Yeah. And when you go to a camp, you stay in the cabins. And then they have a kind of a central area. Well, we are renting out the entire camp. Mm. I don't know how many cabins. It's like dozens and dozens of cabins, right? All these things on a lake. And then there's a main kind of gathering area. Well, guess what we're putting in the main? Guess what we're putting in the main gathering area?
Lay it on me,
Max. So we're gonna go. You know, if you want to come, you come up. You come to Maine. It's 3 hours from Boston. It's half an hour from Augusta, Maine. We're gonna be there. Echo and I are gonna be there. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There's 2 sessions that are going on. The first one is the 20th through the 23rd, I think. Yeah, the 20th through the 23rd. So Echo and I are going to be there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're going to be a part of both sessions. Mm-hmm. And so come to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to train jiu-jitsu. But you can only train jiu-jitsu so many hours a day. So what else are we going to do? We're going to hang out. Yeah. We're going to cruise.
Cruise big time.
We're going to do some kind of... There's a big lake there. So you can't surf in the lake, but we'll figure something water activity out, right?
Sure.
And they're making lobster, and I don't like lobster, but I'm going to have steak, and you can have lobster, so we're going to be hanging out.
Wait, so is the lake cold? Can we swim in the lake?
You can swim in the lake regardless of how cold it is.
I don't know
the temperature of the lake, but Maine, summertime, it's not going to be freezing.
Okay.
I don't think. And if it is, good. It's good for your muscles.
Right, recovery.
And also during this thing too, if you come up, or if you can't make that and you want to come up for this anyways, we're having the grand opening of our new Origin factory in Farmington, Maine. So, big factory. 20,000 square feet. I think it's bigger than 20,000 square feet. Everyone's invited to that. Come hang out. I was thinking we'll do like a Q&A or something. We'll hang out. I'm gonna bring books. We'll just kick it. So come up to that. That is the 23rd of August in Maine. Come and hang out, like I said.
What is the jiu-jitsu part of it? How does that work? Like there's 2 weeks essentially.
You can go for the whole thing. No, it's not 2 weeks. It's 1 week long. It's from the 20th to the 27th, but it's broken into 2 sessions.
So when you mean sessions, like what, we all just roll? You have different teachers?
There's
it's like a big
teachers,
multi-seminar.
Yeah, but I think it's 3 sessions a day of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I mean, how many sessions can you roll hard at? So some of them's going to be like, hey, I'll drill some technique with you, or hey, maybe you can go over some footlock stuff with me, or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some of that. Yeah. But then there's also a bunch of different black belts going to be there to hang out, like show moves.
Yeah.
So
Immersion.
Immersion. That's how you learn.
Gotcha.
So I know Jocko Nolan's coming to that from the West Coast.
Respect.
Yeah, he's coming out. He just hit me up. So yeah, come on up to that. We're gonna have a good time. Also, when we're there, we're gonna have some Jocko white tea. So if there's anyone that wants to instantly deadlift 8,000 pounds, you can get the Jocko white tea. If you need to crush an academic test, get Jocko white tea. If you need some right now, you can get some on Amazon. Books. We got some books for your kid or whatever kids you know. We got The Way of the Warrior Kid. There's lessons in there for everybody. Check it out. If you want the first edition of Discipline Equals Freedom field manual, order it soon. Or go to your bookstore and tell them you want to get it. Pre-order it. Whatever you got to do. Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, your local bookstore. Get it. Now, I'm going to tell you, don't get this book for your wine-sipping book club. Not a book for them. They won't like it. No. If you're part of that club, don't get it for them. You can still get it, but don't bring it to the book club.
Yeah.
They're sipping wine. They're not in the game. But if you want to get stronger, tougher, smarter, healthier, and more prepared all-around, better person, get the book. Discipline Equals Freedom Field Manual. Comes out October 17th, which means they're printing it almost now. So that means if you don't order it, it's going to be backed up. You're not going to have it. Everyone else is going to have it. They're going to have an edge on you.
Dang.
Maybe you never recover. Like that battle I was talking about earlier. Someone else gets the edge on you. You just can't make it. Also, extreme ownership. Own it. Refer to it. Highlight it. Implement it. Spread the word. Get it for your team, your company, your organization. Wrote that with my brother Leif Babin. So if you don't have that and you have copies for every single person that you've ever known, get it for him. Also, Echelon Front, leadership consulting, assessments, instruction. Me, Leif Babin, JP Donnell, Dave Burke. Get the team organized and coordinated for action and for victory. That's my recommendation. If you want to get that process going, email info@echelonfront.com. Finally, the muster is September 14th and 15th in San Diego. All the other musters have sold out. More than half the tickets for San Diego have already sold out. So this is going to sell out. Don't get left out in the cold. You can register at extremeownership.com. And if you need to talk to us before you see us at the immersion camp in Maine and before you go to the muster in San Diego, you can find us on the interwebs, the Twitter, the Instagram, that Facebooky boy, and also the Snapchat.
You're on Snapchat, bro?
I'm on it. I'm learning from my children.
Okay, good.
That's the way people communicate now, the Snapchat. Yeah, and I looked at the pages. Sure. Guess what? Wall Street Journal's on there. The Economist is on there. It's not this thing for your teenage 14-year-old kid anymore.
Well, it is, but yeah, it kind of got out of the basement as well, so it kind of grew.
I don't know. There must be something to it.
I don't know. I'm talking rubbish, but I have a Snapchat. I don't use it, and I haven't I think you gotta confirm your account. I was doing it because my daughter likes to make the faces.
Yeah,
those crazy faces.
Yeah. My youngest daughter likes to do that too.
Yeah, so she did it on my wife's phone all the time, and then she hit me up for it. Like, hey, let me do. She calls it Snapchaps. So she's like, let me Snapchat. She doesn't know what it is. She thinks it's just a face thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I tried to do it. Then so now I gotta confirm. I was like, nah. So I didn't. But I guess I'm like 1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing.
Well, I'm not. I haven't posted anything yet.
Yeah.
But I'm going. I almost did. I was like trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Dang, that's good, man.
But Jade told me. Well, this is what Jade told me, which was smart.
Yeah.
This is what Jade told me. Your brother Jade. I said, it's just I don't really understand it, and he goes, "That's why you need to do it."
I know, bro.
Oh, and
Jade
I was like,
smart
"Wow."
Yeah.
I said to myself, "Okay, you're right. Don't like, oh, I'm afraid of something. Why am I afraid of it? Don't understand it. How do you overcome that?"
Yeah.
Because apparently it's a good method of communication.
And man, and not to say Jade said so it's right. I'm not saying that, but he's real smart with that kind of stuff. Like he knows the trends, so he can like predict shit, stuff like how how it'll work and who's gonna. In fact, what he does now is AI, artificial intelligence, with applications and stuff like that. So he knows that stuff. So it's like when he kind of says it, he can't help but be like, you're right. Even if you don't know, you're like, well, consider the source kind of thing. In fact, he got me into cryptocurrency investment.
Yeah.
So investment, and I'm up 30%. That's all I'm going to say about it. So I'm like, all right. Yeah, I hate to give him the credit for that, but you kind of can't help it. Yeah.
Good. Well, you can find us on the interwebs. Echo is at Echo Charles, and I am at Jocko Willing.